Hello and welcome back to episode 25 of this Impact Wrestling save. Big episode. None of our signings have came in, by the way. If you want to know who those sort of signings are, check out the last episode. If you don't, they will not be spoiled here. For people interested, this was what happened on Explosion. Chris Ridgway defeated Jake Christ, Sabin defeated Crazy Steve, Mac defeated Petey Williams, TJP defeated Daniel Makabe, Dez defeated Rohit, and Wentz defeated Daga. Just finishing off some of the Super X Cup. There is one match left to go on tonight's Impact. This is the tables as they stand. Top of Block A is Wentz and Chris Ridgway. He will face off either next week on Impact or in 2 weeks on Impact. The winner going on to the finals at Sacrifice. You have TJP there with 6 points, Makabe and Daga with 4, and Jake Christ with none. Nothing against Jake Christ. We'll address his lack of wins at a point in storyline. The match that is left is Dez versus Mac. Mac is already qualified. He's a perfect 4-0, 8 points. If Dez wins, he will go through. If he fails to win, Sabin will go through because Sabin defeated Dez on Explosion a couple weeks ago. So if Dez cannot beat the unbeaten Willie Mack, Dez will not be going through to the semi-finals of the Super X Cup like his partner. Rohit is there on 4 points, and then Petey Williams and Crazy Steve both on 2. And then we will get into today's episode. We have 116 minutes, 19 segments, decent show here I think, and let's get into it. 53-minute segment, really good. I think we're hoping for like a 60-ish, high 50s for overall show. We have 374 in attendance. As the announcers are opening up the show like they always do, AC3's music hits, interrupts them a bit. He comes out and hypes up how, he's got rid of Eddie Edwards, he's got rid of Sami Callihan. He's beaten Moose in the past. There's no one really on his level anymore in Impact until the music of Rich Swann hits. Rich Swann comes out, pointing out he just had a massive win at Fan Resolution, and over Eric Young, and he believes the next step for him is Impact Heavyweight Gold. Moose's music then hits and says it doesn't matter if EC3 beat him. That was like 5 months ago. He's won a lot of big matches since then. No, go away, Siri. Apologies, Siri has a mind of its own apparently. But yeah, Moose essentially says that he thinks he's on EC3's level, regardless of whether he beat him a long time ago, because Moose is different now. And that sets up a number 1 contenders match tonight between Rich Swann and Moose. 58 rated for this segment, so we're actually doing really good, I think. High 50s should be achievable. 41, a bit of a dip down, but the besties in the world defeat the Deaners as Matt Fitchett pins Cody Deaner with a tabletop moonsault. 50 for Fitchett, 46 for Cousin Jake, 37 for Davey Vega, and 32 for Cody Deaner. Tag team specialist bonus for Vega and Fitchett, the besties. 33. During that match, the commentary would have hyped up the fact that Eric Young would have came out and stood on the ramp. He doesn't come down even once the match is over. He just watches the Deaners, and after they lose, you can see him look at the ramp and he just shakes his head and walks back down the tunnel. This is of course the beginning of us hyping up by design, and getting something else for Eric Young to do outside of now we don't have like a main feud for him. Then the Block B final setup, what I've already explained. Dez versus William Mack. If Mac wins, Sabin goes through. If Dez wins, he goes through to face Mac in we'll probably do the next week. Will probably be Wentz versus Chris Ridgway, so that you don't possibly get Dez versus William Mac 2 weeks in a row. So it'll go Block A finals, Block B finals, and then the Super X Cup final will be on pay-per-view. 31, not too bad. A 46, as of course, Dez defeats Willie Mack, but sustains a back injury. I feel like we get a lot of injuries, and it's too tough for him to continue. Oh no. It must be really bad then. We get a lot of injuries in this save. Jim Storm, Leo Rush, now Dez, which really does mess up my plans actually. Return to the booking screen. Dez sustained a back injury. Some of the show will need to be rebooked. We might got some heat for. Oh no. I did have. This was what the planned angle was. The planned angle was a stare down between the Rascals, which we can't do anymore. We wanted to tease the tension between the Rascals. Can we just remove this angle? Yeah, because there's no interest personally from me of having a stare down between Willie Mack, who's just lost and injured Dez, and Trey and Wentz, because it doesn't really make sense, and we're not gonna like turn Willie Mack based off of this, so we're just gonna let him continue as a face. Has that not worked? Continue show. There we go. Next up, Chris Bay holds his press conference. 61 is really good for these two. This angle actually could be really good. Chris Bay announces that he is officially entering not the heavyweight division, but he's officially leaving the X division, and he is, in his opinion, a future world heavyweight champion. And although he didn't come out earlier, he believes that EC3's next challenger is standing right here until he's interrupted by Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards, the guy that I believe is, in our save at least, the ace of Impact Wrestling. I think he probably is, maybe in real life in a way. He's, our everyman hero who hypes up the fact that, although he's not Impact Champion anymore, he's the standard bearer around here. And, people don't just get title opportunities, they prove themselves. And whenever, when Chris Bay finally does that, maybe then he'll have the respect of his peers, which of course Chris Bay doesn't really care about, but you can tell he's annoyed that Eddie Edwards seems to think that he is not World Championship material. And that is the beginning of their feud here. Both did really good with improvising, that's probably why we got such a good rating. I think this will be a good breakout feud for Chris Bay. A women's tag team match, Jordan Grace and Serena Deeb defeat Alicia Edwards and Rachel Ellering. Not bad. Grace gets the pinfall on Edwards in just under 4 minutes with the fall from Grace. Deeb with a 40, Grace with a 41, and 28s for Ellering and Edwards, who are like our, happy-go-lucky underdog babyface tag team who are going to take pins for us. And then the tag team champions come out, hold the belts high. Of course, Grace and Deeb were not pinned on Sunday at Final Resolution, so they would seem like your next logical opponents, and I think by the seams of it, Taya and Rosemary agree. A 43, the Good Brothers defeat Triple XL. Some of our matches are bringing us down a wee bit here, but I think we should be able to get high 50s still. The Good Brothers defeat Triple XL in 620, as Doc Gallows pins Larry D with a Magic Killer. Larry D was the weakest member of the team. Carl Anderson got a 55, Gallows a 49, Larry D a 28, and AC Romero a 39. Not bad, not great, but they were there just to sort of lose. It would have been nicer if the Good Brothers could have carried them a little bit higher, but I can take what we got. Then we have Doc Gallows apparently off screen, but he isn't. The North come out and confirm again that they are challenging the Good Brothers in the future. Hope, in their opinion, at Sacrifice. It's a big money match, and they point out that they are, in their opinion, the greatest tag team in Impact Wrestling history. I think they have the longest title reign of all time, don't they? So they believe they're the greatest tag team in Impact Wrestling history. They don't care that, the Good Brothers are a legendary tag team in Japan and, in America. They think that they are a level above, and they will restore what they believe is credibility to Impact's tag team division. Don't know, I got really loud there. We just have a little squash match. Not a squash match. It goes 6 minutes. But, a match that's all about Brian Myers defeating Tommy Dreamer. Heat-seeking elbow for the pin. Myers, I believe, now is 12-0. 42 rating for performance from Myers and a 36 for Dreamer. And again, just keeping Brian Myers peeping over, referencing his really long win streak now, 12-0. Because we know how much he loves a streak. After the match, Don Callis comes out and he wants to interview the new Knockouts Women's Champion. And, you know, Kelly Ray's music hits. She doesn't come out. Hits again. She doesn't come out. Then Donna Purrazzo's music hits. Purrazzo comes out and she says, why would you want to talk to Kelly Ray? She's a very temporary champion, what people in the business call a transitional champion, in Donna Purrazzo's words. And she says, it doesn't really matter about Kelly Ray. She's going to get that title back and continue on her legacy-defining reign as Knockouts champion. Then Su Young's music hits. She doesn't say anything. She gets in the ring, and you see Purrazzo, try and play it cool. Tries to lay off. She doesn't want anything to do with Su Yung. And it just ends. The segment ends with a stare down between Young and Purrazzo, with Purrazzo sort of not completely chicken shitting it, but backing away from the newly returning Su Yung, the one who turned on her own friend at the pay-per-view in the past. 46, bad match. I hope for better for this actually. Sami Callihan defeats Rhino in 10 minutes with a lariat. 57 from Callihan, 46 for Rhino. Why was it not good? Was it too short? If it was too short, that's fair. Odd. Oh, face, no storyline. Rhino's declining ability and consistency. Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough, I guess. Next segment. So, Sami Callihan gets a mic and he's going to talk about the fact that he just lost to EC3 at the last pay-per-view. Before he can say anything, and I mean before he can say anything, Ace Austin's music hits. Austin comes out, no mic in hand, and we can see Sami Callihan's visibly confused. The announcer also hyped the fact that there's no Madman Fulton with him until, bam, Fulton attacks Callihan from behind. Austin slides into the ring, and the two of them just lay into Sami Callihan. Neither of them say a word, and then they roll out and go back up the ramp after laying and beating the absolute hell out of Sami Callihan. Rich Swann has a little pre-match interview. 43 is not great. I think his best segments are going to come when he's on screen with EC3. But Swann just hypes up the fact that he's clearly an underdog compared to EC3, never mind Moose. So he wants, but he's going to do it. He believes in himself. He always has. That's what's got him this far in this business, is self-belief. And yes, EC3 and Moose are right. He's not a serious guy. He's a fun-loving guy. And he doesn't have all the money and the cars and the muscles the other two have, but he believes he is Impact Heavyweight Championship worthy. Not bad, not great. He struggled going off script, but we'll maybe remember to script him next time we have him do an interview like this. 41, terrible match. Why was it so low? Maybe that's kind of botched our main event spot. But Swann got a 46, Moose a 48. Rich Swann defeats Moose in 13:51 by pinfall with a spinning tornado kick, crowning himself the number 1 contender for Sacrifice. They have good chemistry as well. They only got a 41. Swann held back, inconsistency per gimmick. Moose held back, an inconsistent, lack of associated hot storyline. Okay, that's fair. And then, after the match, EC3 lays out Swann, stands over him, holding the title off. 54, might have saved our rating a little bit. And that's not bad. EC3 is going to probably have to carry this storyline a little bit. We might have to get Rich Swann a new gimmick, which I did not realize. But we can grab him a new gimmick, and maybe that will heat up the storyline as well. Finish the show. 48, really bad. Gained popularity in 4 British regions, but growth was restricted due to the limited number of viewers there. Okay. And increased by 20 pop in 20 regions, so it's clearly something we can get a 48. We can get as low as this, but it's not advised. So I've never seen this before. We would have gained popularity in 4 British regions, but due to limited number of viewers there. Huh. I've actually not seen that before, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Maybe get a new pay-per-view deal, not a pay-per-view deal, a new TV deal for the UK, and see if we can grow over there. Thank you guys for checking this episode. Unfortunately, the rating was a little low. We were hoping for 50s. I would have taken mid-50s, but we were hoping for a lot better than that, I think. But overall, I do think it's a good episode. We put, EC3 in there with Moose. EC3 in there with Rich Swan, I mean, as their sort of title picture. The Besties defeated the Deaners. We set up Violent by Design a little bit. We did set up Dez versus Willie Mack, and then a block finals. What we will probably do is have Dez, although he has came in the top 2 of his block, we'll probably have Mac Saban, and then Wentz or Ridgeway against Mac. But it's inconvenient. Well, we'll just see how long Dez is out for, and then Dez could maybe even get a title opportunity at the X Division Crown a wee bit down the path anyway. Thank you guys for checking this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.